Okay, hi everybody. A dyeing video. I posted on in the Crafty Sisters group a picture of my dyed paper with crepe paper or crate paper. I don't know how you all call it. So I used this, and here is a tray. Just added water, actually warm water, but at the time it will cool off. And you add a piece of the crepe paper in the water, and you will see that it will release a dye. You dip your paper, and I'm using here, this is just normal printer paper I'm using. Here I have used drawing paper from a drawing pad. I'm going to test now how it will, what it will do with something else. And I see it's a nice light blue color. Okay, maybe I shall show you. The color I used for this is this like teal blue, green blue color here. And I used about, so I used this color here, and I used, I think, about 5 centimeters because this is a large tray. I tried first with about 3.5 centimeters, but wasn't dark enough, so I just added another piece. So I used about 5 centimeters of here. Just snipped it through it in the water. And in the end of the video, I will show you the result of the other colors that I did, because as you can see here, I did use purple, I used some pink colors, I used, I think, orange, or I did use yellow first, but it was too light, and I added some darker orange, and I got a nice peachy pink. So let's try out one of these paper doilies. I don't know if it's just one, it might be two. Never mind, they will fall apart anyway. You just dip it in. It's quite easy, and it's very cheap this way to dye your papers or even laces that way. So that's up. I think these are two, but I'll probably be able to iron them from each other. So let's see. And I'm going to use, I'm dirtying everything off with my dirty fingers. This is just writing paper from a school book. I have to be careful with this one because it is very frail. Now, I didn't try dyeing this paper before, and it really didn't took that hard. I tried it with a coffee tea mix, and it remained rather very light in color. So it, as you see, it doesn't really take well, but we'll see, because when it dries they will become a bit darker, but at least it will take off the very white. And as you can see, as I go along, I put them in a tray here. Let's see how this paper will do. And as you can see, my hands, they don't look, and I don't mind working with my hands. It will wear off once I wash them. I really like to feel what I'm doing, but that's why I'm not using gloves. This is another type of paper that really takes color very hard, but it doesn't have to be dark. We will see what the result will be when it's dried. I'm not leaving them too long in, otherwise they will tear up. There, this is a different quality of paper dough, so let's try this one. I think I did this one before. I might have done that one. Let's see. Here, there's this one. Let's try this one. I should be having some laces around here too. So and I let them air dry, and once above my wood burner. It takes a while, but I do like once the wood burner dries them quite well, and the rest of the moist I just iron it out. Those that are still wet, and I do switch them regularly from position above myself. Now, as you can see, the color difference already, so each paper will take it differently. Now I'm going to use one of these just to see how, let's pull this one off, how cotton will take. The pearl will stay white, I know that. And I bought this tray especially for dyeing. I bought this one in a thrift store so that I just can exclusively use that for dyeing. And it's big enough to fit an A3 size paper in if I want to. Now this obviously doesn't take color very well. Let's see, I'm gonna give a quick rinse to my hands so I can grab. I'm going to grab a piece of lace. Let's just dye 2 pieces of lace here. Now this, if I want it darker, I can still leave it in anyway. Let's see what I have more. Should be having some more stuff lying around because I did do some preparation. Okay, I have a paper bag. Let's try that. Let's pull this out because otherwise it will completely melt away. Now let's hope that it won't tear up, because this is the first time trying to dye a paper bag. It's very, very light, so I'm fearing it will. Let's be careful. Put it like this. Take the lace out. The lace took it well, and I think I pulled out an envelope. Now I'm not that much fan of an envelope. I tried several times. Each time they always break. It must be not such a good quality of envelope, I believe. You see, this one is already. So let's try that. Let's see. Up. Oh yes, it took it rather nice. Later on, I will put that. I will show the results once it's dried and ironed, and I will pause the video and I will show you a different color. Okay, see you. Okay, as I said, let's try a new color. Let's try like this orangey. This is about maybe 5 centimeters. Do I have a ruler somewhere so that you have an idea? Let's cut about 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters, that would be about 2 inches. Let's see how this orange will color. Now, I'm not an orangey person, but with a bit of luck, it won't be that orangey, but more like a peachy. And as you see, as I go along, you will see the dye coming loose. And the other tray is already and it's a cheap. Why buy expensive dyes like the Dyalon? Because the Dyalon, we can find Dyalon dyes here, but they are very expensive. And even food colorings aren't that cheap. Now this is not my, just specify, this is not my idea. I did hear another lady on YouTube dyeing with crepe paper, but I don't remember who it exactly was. It was either Gi Kerr or Ruby Walsh, and she's Little Treasure Books. Oh, forgot her name. Sorry, Ruby, forgot your name. But I link both ladies anyway down below in the description box because they are amazing, talented ladies. And let's pull this out and let's give it a first try. And now my hands look a different color. Oh yes, let's give it a try in my other papers. I'm just a few drops. Is this made? It's a brand new bottle. My nails are very weak. I can't open it. My nails are weak. Wait. From the water. Okay, I'll come back. Let's see if I can open. My hubby can open it. I have very weak fingers. Sorry. A tough little bottle. It's not working. Stop. As you see, yay, my hubby got it. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna just a couple of drops in to see. Darn, it's very hard. What I'm going to do is try to make a little hole in this thingy here, so I can really drop it in. Oh, it smells delicious anyway. So let's see. Let's try. It's a little bit too strong for my hubby. Yeah, it will, I think, turn out more like a peachy color than orange. Okay, so let's try in the next doily. And I hate to take doilies apart. I hope they're not coming apart. They probably will come apart later on. And I'm just using a barbecue tray with some kitchen paper to put them in. There, I hope the video is not too boring. Just to give you an idea. I'll just do one paper here. I will throw in a real cotton vintage doily. Now don't be afraid, once dried, I said that before, it will become darker. I think this is the drawing pad paper. Let's put this one in. And throw in a doily. And as you see, this is really from those old vintage doily. These cottons absorb immensely quick the colors. These cool paper pad papers don't. I should be having one of these. These are papers from the pads that you see over here. They're just a little bit more GSM than the printer paper. Printer paper is 80 GSM and this one is 135 GSM. And I got this tip from Leonie. She had dyed her papers with tea, and she said that it absorbed the color very well. So now that's why I'm trying this now with the crepe paper dyeing. And I'm not gonna bother you. I'm gonna continue off video, and then in the end I will show you the results of the different colors I tried. Okay, bye. Hi everyone, so here I will continue my crepe paper dye. So it dried mostly on my wood burner. And just to show you the difference, so this is the original white one, and this is then been colored with the orange crepe paper. Now as you can see, the colors will vary. So these two really didn't take a lot of color, but just enough to give it a very light peachy pink. This very vintage doily here absorbed the color very hard, and as you see, it's already more like a darker peachy pink. And then, yeah, some of the papers are just a tiny bit moist, so will iron them up. I'm not using a sophisticated iron for that, just a very cheap iron I bought in my local store. And I just give them a quick ironing there. And as you can see, I really like how it turned out. Just to show you a different paper. So this is the school paper. I'm quite surprised because when I pulled it out, it wasn't this dark. So now it did turn out a nice pinkish color, more like a pinkish than peach. Off screen, of course, I dyed this vintage cross. And as you can see, the cross itself, which has been embroidered with pure cotton, is a very gorgeous in color. And the netting, really little color. Yeah, and in this paper, as you can see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but on this paper, I laid this on top, and you can very softly see the cross in the paper. Now this has two colors because it was laying on a different color of paper, so it picked up a little bit of the tea dye, which is very nice. So it has this one has now a two-tone color, like a peach and a tea dye color. This one picked up a little bit less, which I'm quite surprised, maybe because I didn't leave it that long in. This is the drawing pad paper, but it's still nice. It's still darker than the white. There's still a difference. I'm just ironing it, and it's for a young girl, so it doesn't have to be perfect. This is again the school paper with the larger squares, and I'm sorry for my dog's barking. Playtime. Those that know me, my fur babies mean the whole world to me. Now the vintage book paper didn't really take the color well, just a little bit. This is a book that dates from the 40s, I think it's from the 40s. A dictionary book. The doilies didn't take a lot of color either, just slightly. They were just slightly tinged. And I'm glad I added the little scents, because the crepe paper did have a lot of like a chemical smell to it once it was diluted in the water, and the scented oil really completely removed the scent, and now they have a nice normal. So some of the papers did get deformed, that's why I'm going, I quickly iron them. And just to see, this is the lined paper. The lined paper didn't take a lot of color either, but just enough, just to break the white. Now again, this is a vintage doily. As you see, this one really turned out really peachy pink, which is nice. It also depends where it was lying on the stove. Here it picked up a little bit of the burning from the stove, but that I don't mind. It really adds to the paper. And here are three other paper dolly, which are very lightly, and I think these might be two doilies together. Yep, there we are. I'm not gonna bore you and show you all the ironing, just to give you, I will do a separate, oh, I think these are 2 as well. Oops, these are even 3. So I will have 3 different colors, it doesn't matter. There I am. Hop, hop. This again, this seems to have taken a little bit more of the color than the other paper. And this is one of the blue ones. Oh, this is actually the envelope. Quite surprised. Can I release this? That's going to be, never mind, it's glued together. But I can still use it. So the envelope really took nice. The lace, this is more like an artificial lace. As you see, it really didn't take that much color, but it did broke a bit of the white. Okay, this is another color I tried. This was actually a very heavy blue one, but dyeing it turned out more like a greenish, beautiful aqua green. Now here the doilies did take better the color, which I'm quite happy about. And I think it's one. Okay, here's the paper bag, and I'm also surprised how this turned out. I'm quite happy with the result of this paper bag as well. Okay, here on top of the paper bag, as you see, laid a piece of lace, darkened a bit. Okay, I'll come back when I've done all of it, and then I will do an overview of all the colors and materials that I tried, because I'm not gonna bore you by ironing half an hour of papers. Okay, see you later. Okay, hi, so I'm gonna show you the results of my crepe paper dye, and as I said before, this is not my idea. I heard a lady doing this before. So as you see, a big pile. This was my first attempt. This is a second attempt, and I did do some mixing of colors. I started, for example, this was a very light lilac, and it just hardly tinted the paper, so it did broke a bit the white. The doilies, this was another attempt. This was then the first attempt with a very light lilac. And as you see, they turned out very pale in colors. And I used normal printer paper, paper from the drawing pad. And then this is also a drawing pad, but this is a bit heavier. This is a 135 GSM paper. And it really took very lightly the colors. You just did a bit more, because this paper does absorb a little bit more color. So I decided to make it a bit darker, and what I did was I added a very slight, slim, maybe 1 or 2 millimeter of another color, and it made it look a little bit more a darker purple. This one was on top of the tray, so that's why it has the lines. So it's just a bit darker than the other series. Then I decided to lighten it up again, and it was really very light, as you see. And then I played around again, and what I did is I added a little bit of blue. And now the book pages, the vintage book papers hardly took color. And then I said I added again a little bit of blue, and it became again a darker purple. So as you can see the difference here, it's really already a remarkable difference from the white. So just playing around, it's just a question of playing around, mixing sometimes colors. And I did add on each of the papers some, and then I added a little bit of a, like a very dark red purple, and it gave a more pinkish color. I'm gonna put all these together. This is then the piece of lace, which was completely white as well. Let's hold it against the white. It just very slight, pink color, which is adorable. And the vintage appliques did took the colors harder. So if you can see here against the white, you'll see it better how it's thin. So this has a really soft lavender color now. And there you are. And then this is actually I think it was a dark, it is a greenish color, but it turned out like a minty green. So this lace took more color. This one, not so happy about it. It hardly took color, so it's not really good quality for dyeing this color. And then these two also didn't take the color very well. So it's just playing around to see which does take. Now the papers turned out really lovely. This lovely blue mint. And this is the doily again. I'm gonna flip through quickly. So I do like the stains here and there. Sometimes I just splattered some extra splatters on. This one is quite funny. The lace was lying on top of this and it took the lace, but still perfect workable. This was laying on top of the tray and it had some tea stain papers on it there. So it took the blue and the tea stain. So now I have a two-tone color paper. And as you see, just the color does vary depending how long you leave the papers in. Sometimes I left them a little bit longer. Sometimes I just dipped them in. And here more of the, these might be actually two. So some doilies do take the color better than others. We'll pile these color doilies all up, and then here's the applique again, the applique, and this lace really absorbed the colors really well. Again, the book papers didn't, just here and there. Some more of these. The vintage doily, this one absorbed it quickly. I really had to dip in it and pull it out because it was already quite dark. The heart, nope, I think it's too chemical. Didn't take the color well, so I probably will re-dye that with my alcohol markers. These turned out quite nice. I thought first they wouldn't absorb the color, but now once they dried, they darkened and turned out really great. More doilies. This lace again didn't took the color well. The paper bag did it nicely. So if you compare, because here I have the original white one, so I did took off the white. So that's nice. And here more other doily. I think actually this is another batch of color, a lighter color, and the other one I did darkened again by adding another color. This is a white one, sorry. This is my envelope. I need to see if I can do it. Okay. The envelope turned out not too bad. So this is, I think this was the orange that we did on video. Some did our colors a little bit less because they were glued together, the doily, so some might be darker. But it's a nice, turned out a nice peachy. Oh, maybe this might be a peachy. Yeah, this belongs to, as you see, like a light peach pink. Here too again. Now again, the vintage doilies, now the quality of the vintage doilies, these type of cottons are completely different than the modern ones. The old doily cottons will take color much easily, and as you see how darker the peachy pink of the vintage doily is. Again here, this time it took a little bit less, but still turned out nice. And let's see how these are against the white. But again, a very light peach pink. Yeah, that's again, this is the heart is disappointing. It did take a little bit of color this time, but not that much. Now this is a vintage piece, and again, as you can see, it the main cross absorbed the color enormously, and the netting in the back remains quite neutral, so it makes now the cross pop up, which is very nice. Again, this just very slightly, the vintage doily, again very darker, but I do love the peachy pink color. And then here's more. As you can see, the drawing pad, the heavier drawing pad, it took the colors heavier. Now, this is what I did, some of them on video. This is from another batch that I did, again, different type of colors. Now this didn't take well color, as you can see, it's almost still white. And here I tried also different materials, again, vintage lace, flower lace that I colored up. This is a very, very light purple. This was white pom-pom trim, and it turned out quite like a fluorescent pink. This turned out more like a peachy pink. This is again a nice mint blue. This was white, and it is a nice blue color. This was white, and it turned out into a light blue. And these are, well, you can say cheesecloth, but it's not. It's bandage 8, but we don't have cheesecloth. We use bandage 8 as cheesecloth, and I found these in a thrift store. Now some colors did take a little bit less, so probably I will reuse them. This is a very light blue. Let's see if against the white it shows better. As you can see, it's hardly colored, so these I'll probably will re-dye if I want to have them darker, or maybe spray them. These are the colors that I do like. As you see, they're not evenly stained, but I do like how these turn out. And then this is more like the peachy color. Again, this was supposed to be blue, but didn't accept the color much. Now again, this is a nice mint green. Again, not equally colored, but that's great. Here is a lighter pink. This again, not much. The doilies, like a purplish pink. And here again, an orangey that turned into peach. Here again, the vintage laces, which I do like. This one, I think this one was yellow. It was originally white, but I dyed it with a yellow. Crepe paper, blue, and here are more blue doilies. Now these were all ironed up, and here are paper. Now these are all mainly printer paper, so I think this was green crepe paper. This was, actually I started orange, but I didn't like the color, and I think I added something else, and in the end it turned out pink. Once it dried, so these are like a peachy pink. These are a very light lilac. I did try some heavier paper, but it didn't. And this is again a light blue series. This is a light yellow. As you can see, just took off. Nice for vintage. And then, as you can see, just play around. Sometimes you have to mix. I even had blue, but the blue was so light that I really added just a snippet of black to it, and it turned into a navy blue just by adding a snippet. And once it took the black, it gave me a darker blue color, but not too. And I really like it. So now I have other colors of pages. I'm sorry, my voice is running out again. Once you play around, and in each of the papers I did added some scented oil, because it takes the chemical smell of the crepe paper away. So here it is. Let me know what you think, if it was interesting or not. And really should give it a try. Oh, these are coffee. This is a mixture of coffee and tea. I started with tea, it wasn't dark enough, and I added some coffee to it. So this is actually a mixture of coffee tea stain paper. Here and there the papers are torn, but I will work around that. Junk journals don't have to be perfect. So and I already have a big pile of papers to work with. Obviously all papers are different. See the envelope different. There. And I kind of like how it turned out, not too dark, not too light, just nice. So here it is. Hope you like this video and thank you all for watching and commenting. Bye!